What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of BeawCast. Today, I got my buddy Randall, who I've seen grow over the years in the fitness industry, where I think you started a little bit before we did, but I've seen you grow from a small place to a medium place to a large place. I've seen you have small booths at expos to now giant booths, to malls sponsoring surfers and like conquering the. What are we doing wrong?
Yeah, I know. Can you tell us your secrets?
Why are you 20 times more successful than we are?
Actually, the camera's not even rolling. We just want to steal all your secrets.
Yeah, go. I'm gonna start writing notes.
Go.
Hey, this is not even an interview. I thought I can't.
Yeah, so like I've watched you grow, like, because we started in 2013. When did you start?
Right around then, like late 12, 13. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen like your brand just grows to this huge multi-million-dollar business, and seeing that is like really, really inspirational to me.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to help share your story, because I know there's people that are always asking me for business advice, and I'm like, motherfucker, I'm doing it wrong because I don't got a Lambo. Like, this guy has a Lambo. You listen to this guy.
Yeah, so everyone listen to this guy.
No, you guys are doing it right. You know.
So how did it all start? Like, how did you know you wanted to did you know from the get-go you want to get into like fitness apparel?
Not specifically fitness apparel, but just like streetwear apparel in general.
Yeah.
Because before I got into fitness, that's what I did, growing up.
What were your other brands called?
I had an old brand called Ruckus. This is what it was in high school. I used to run a silk screening business out of my garage.
In high school?
In high school, yeah.
That's tight. What the hell was I? I was getting high in high school.
You never heard of drugs in high
hustling.
school?
You never heard of ditching parties? Come on,
ditch to
dude.
go print shirts.
Damn, that's
Damn,
dope.
that's what we did wrong.
So the hustle started early.
That's
Yeah.
tight.
Super early. Like all through high school was I remember taking that graphic design class, I think my sophomore year, and that's when they taught you how to like burn a screen and literally how to make like a one color print shirt.
Yeah.
And I just got sold on that. I was like,
What
dude, this
school
is
is
dope.
this?
Wilson.
Yeah.
Wilson High
What?
School.
I don't think we had that. I think we just had like, what's that one where we work on cars? What is that called?
Auto?
Is that what it's called?
We didn't even have that.
Oh,
That's
all
high
right.
school.
All right. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
But it was just a small section in the graphic design
Oh, that's tight.
class.
Yeah.
That they taught us about silk screening, and then that just stuck with me forever. And I found like fitness way later after I, going to college and trying to figure out what I was going to do, became a personal trainer. But
Were you able to sell those shirts, like those Ruckus shirts?
yeah, a little bit of it. I mean, it didn't pop off because, I didn't have any like history of like who's this dude or anything. But we sponsored like hardcore bands.
You
few
sponsored
rappers.
at that? What the fuck? You're
Yeah.
awesome. That's really cool.
Because all the business models that I took were like skate companies,
Oh.
because you always wanted to be part of a team. Like,
Because you grew up skating.
yeah, I grew up skating, so every skate company like S or Emerica, they all had a team.
I skated
so I
too.
just wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, I skated too for
We
a
should
long
skate.
time.
Did you really?
No.
Oh, you fucking liar. I was like, wait a minute, what?
I was like, wait, I need to see
No.
this.
I don't know why I always picture, like, I know your story.
Yeah.
And I know what you look like, but I always, like, every time he talks about, like, his past or, like, oh, I did that as a kid. Or I just picture his big head and his, like, big upper body. And then I just picture, like, small little legs, like, little kid.
I was like 120 or 130 in high school.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to see
care.
pictures of you.
I'll
dude.
show you. Were you jacked in high school?
Nah, dude.
Were you
well,
skinny?
like late in high school, like my senior year. That's when I got into bodybuilding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then so you took that model. You're like sponsoring hardcore bands. So when they were playing shows, they were wearing like your clothes.
Yep. And I would do their photo shoots, do their videos. We sponsor skateboarders, other rappers, and at that time, I just wanted to make dope content. Just for us, me and my friends and stuff, But I didn't know that it was teaching me all these things at the same time, that I would.
Did you have a
keep in my back
website?
pocket. Yeah, we had a website. We had a MySpace, top
Damn,
10.
what the
Top
fuck?
10,
What, top 10?
Oh.
Damn,
Yeah.
I wasn't cool enough for that. I'd probably look at your page and be like, oh, they're so cool.
Yeah.
That's freaking, where did you get the money to even do this stuff?
Drugs.
Drugs.
Drugs. I don't even know. I don't know, messing around. It didn't cost much to buy a couple of blank shirts and print it,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Damn. That's freaking cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so then you started doing the printing, and then somehow, like within the hobbies or whatever, you started doing bodybuilding.
Well, actually, I'm going to interject because there's
Bring
a
it
question that people never ask.
Yeah, let's hear that.
They always ask how things start, right, and how things succeed. But how did you know when to shut down Ruckus? Like, how did you know this business is a failure? Time to move on.
It just wasn't going anywhere. I had a partner in it too. It was my best friend at the time. It was just not making like crazy amounts of income.
Yeah.
You know, we were still young, and then like I was in high school, so I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go to school instead.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing in a band too as well, so I had to focus on that, and But
what did you play in the band?
Drums.
Oh, type.
Yeah.
I play drums too.
We got to jam on that.
Yeah. Do you still picture me like this, looking like this, playing drums?
Oh no! Now I picture you without a shirt and like a bunch of like hot oil all over you, and then your hair is long, and you're
told
like.
you she's crazy.
We should dress him up, dude. Put a mullet on.
We still gotta do a drum collab. That would be so sick. I think that'll blow up the internet.
Yeah, we should do that.
That would be so sick.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
Can I play the triangle in the back? Ding,
Sure.
ding. Well, I'm just trying to get in on the fun. All right. Anyway, sorry I cut you off. You.
Okay,
you.
so you figured, so you and your best friend didn't like make hella money. You decided to go back to playing in the band, and then you got into bodybuilding. Like when did you? A lot of people, when they do one thing, they're like, okay, this thing failed. I don't want to do this again. What made you go, you know what? I'm gonna retry apparel one more time.
For me, it was like I always had my hands into every little thing. Like I was in a band, I had the brand, I had the social screening business, and then all of that together, you know. And it was kind of like, well, which one's gonna pop off? None of them popped off.
Damn.
So I ended up. I was in drumline at the time.
Yeah.
Because that counted as the physical education.
Oh,
the
yeah,
PE.
yeah, that's true.
But then I was over it by the time I was a junior and senior, so I didn't want to take regular PE. So I decided to do weight training, and that's where I met this dude, Larry Camacho, which was a Muscle Mania pro, a bodybuilder. And I was like, man, I want to look like that fool. He looks like a superhero.
He was your guys' coach?
No, he was just a
Like
classmate.
a senior? What the
Yeah,
fuck?
senior. He was buff as fuck. I was like,
Buff as
damn.
fuck senior?
Was he Mexican?
He was Nicaraguan. I thought he was Mexican.
Oh,
Yeah, I used to call him Mexican all the time. He'd get mad.
What the fuck?
damn! The Latin genes, man, they're dope.
What's crazy is like in my yearbook, everyone that I thought was jacked, when I look back, they probably had like 14-inch arms.
Yeah.
Or like I'm like, man, that guy's repping 135 on the incline. That's insane.
Well, it's because you said you were $120.
I know, but it was just when I look back, I'm like, man, no one was strong at my school.
Yeah, no, this guy was, if you look back, he's still buff.
Damn.
Yeah, so.
That's real buff.
But yeah, so I just wanted to be like him, and I became his friend, and he started training together, you know?
Yeah.
And then he helped me prep for like my first show, and that's when I really got introduced to that whole like world of bodybuilding and just like, yeah, that whole industry.
How old were you when you did your first show?
19, so I did my first bodybuilding show when I was, it was considered a junior class, yeah.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous.
Did you do the Speedo ones or
Yeah,
the
the
board strap?
Speedo one. Yeah, straight up. I didn't even know what men's physique
see?
was, dude.
That's tight.
Yeah.
When you found out that
Yeah.
when you found out that you had to wear a Speedo, what was your reaction? Were you like, hell yeah? Were
No,
you
I already
like,
knew I was
"Ah."
gonna wear it. I was like,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm about to flex on everybody.
Isn't that crazy though? Like, cause if you put that in like, hey, let's go swimming, like, would you be like, hell no, I'm gonna wear trunks? But like, because it just belongs in the bodybuilding world, you're like, nah, that's cool. I'm down to do that.
No, it was pretty normal actually at our high school because we had a pretty good swim team and stuff. So
All
it
right,
wasn't-
let me use a different example.
Your high school had everything.
I know, damn.
We need to put our kid in that high school.
Did you guys have like a zoo there too? Like you learn about animals and stuff?
Actually, no. Just kidding.
Oh, I'm like, damn, that's tight.
What color was
No,
your
but-
Speedo?
No, but check this out.
Yeah.
It was blue.
Okay.
But our high school, you know what was worse though, or what made it bad? We had to wear uniforms.
What?
Yeah, in high school, khakis and
That is pretty bad.
white or burgundy polos.
So you couldn't even rock like your own streetwear company in high
No.
school then?
Nope.
Was it a private school?
Nah, public.
And it had uniforms?
Mhm.
Oh man, that's
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
bad.
pretty
Okay.
bad.
Ha ha.
Yeah.
Your high school sucked.
Yeah, there was one point too. I think they tried to make everyone tuck in their shirts. Yeah.
Dang.
It was crazy.
Okay, I don't feel bad anymore.
Yeah, and then we had to wear IDs around our necks, like towards the end of
What
it.
the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They started that like my senior year. it was crazy.
Why did you guys have to wear IDs around your necks?
I don't know. Probably just because, like, I don't know. Probably like people trying to sneak in. This is when crazy stuff started to happen at schools and shit. So
yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Damn, that's nuts. So you did your first bodybuilding show, and you were nervous, and then did you catch the bug where you're like, I'm gonna keep doing these things? And when were you able to tie the clothing side of things with the fitness side of things?
Well, the clothing, that's just like, I've just had that in my back pocket, you know, so that
you're still doing it?
Never go away.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't do it, it would, I always had that knowledge, and I would always like go back to it just for fun, because I would graphic design and stuff. But when I did that bodybuilding show, that's when I fell in love with fitness. And then when I decided to go to college, first I studied business. I didn't even know what the heck kinesiology was. And I found out what it was, and I was like, dude, you can be in fitness and make a living out of this.
Yeah.
That shit sounds fucking dope. So I started studying that, got certified, and became a personal trainer. And that's when the whole like fitness side of me became about, you know, when I...
Are you like 20 at this point, 21?
Yeah, 19 or 20. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I got certified right out of high school, and then went to college and then personal training at the same time. So that was like my college job.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool, because it's, you know, you only train like 4 or 5 hours a day. So it's pretty lenient.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
How were your parents with this whole thing? Were they like super supportive, or they were kind of like, I don't know?
Yeah, they're supportive. They just didn't know what it was, you know?
That's tight.
Yeah, they didn't care.
I wish my parents were Cambodian.
They just wanted me to go to school. That was the thing. So I was like, yeah, I'll go, you know? But as far as like the training, the bodybuilding, the whole fitness thing,
They're like, as long as he's not in jail, I'm happy.
Exactly. Yeah. As long as he's not.
That's hella cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was literally, yeah, you were like, really?
That's what my dad thought by the time it was my senior year. So they had high hopes for me as a kid, and they wanted me to like do hella good in math and English and school and all that stuff. But I just got into more and more in trouble. So by the time it was like my senior year, my dad's like, hey, if you don't come home, call me at least once a week so I know you're alive, and just don't go to jail, and don't get yourself killed or kill anybody. I'm all right, fine.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, I didn't have that. Mine was more like, you got to go to school, and then after school, I mean, like once you get your degree, you find a good job. I mean, like everyone's parents or whatever. And then like once you get that job, then you got to get married, and then you got to buy a house. And then after you buy a house, like this was literally the plan.
So structured.
Yeah.
Huh?
And then like after you buy the house, then you can have the kids.
Yeah.
That's how it was. So that's really tight that your parents were just like, all right, do you, dude? Like,
yeah. I don't think they had time to really watch. I mean, they're divorced. So I grew up with my mom, but I would see my dad every other weekend.
Well, my parents were divorced too.
Yeah.
Yeah, divorced parents. Hell yeah.
But since I was like 3, so I didn't really know better. I just knew mom was here, dad was here, you know?
Yeah.
But my mom was just too busy raising my brother and I, so it was like really hard for her to keep tabs on us. I can see that now, looking back.
Yeah.
So it was just like, okay, these guys are like healthy, alive, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, they're breathing. They're cool.
Yeah.
All right, got to keep hustling.
How did you know when you were going to start the LiveFit brand? Like, how did you know that was the name? How did you know what you were going to do with it?
So fast forward from when I was a trainer to like the peak of my training career which when I was like 25.
Yeah.
That was when I was already established training privately, ran my own business. And then the LiveFit name was just a slogan for my training business.
Oh, okay.
And knowing all the knowledge I had prior, I just slapped LiveFit on. I just made merch for my company, my business.
Yeah.
And being a designer, I just made it aesthetically pleasing, I guess. And then people were like, dude, that's dope. And then people that weren't my clients wanted the merch. So I wasn't going to say no. So I just started slinging it, you know. And this is when Facebook was out now. So I would just like message people, or people would message me, and we just meet up, and I'll just drive to a location, to a parking lot, just start slinging shirts and stuff.
Damn,
Yeah.
you are a hustler. That's tight.
That's when I had an Evo.
Oh, that's tight.
I just drive around my Evo and just, you know, meet people up. Yeah, and then I had like friends that or other trainers that worked under me too at the time.
Yeah.
And then they were like pushing that stuff too as well. So
damn,
yeah, it was cool.
Tight. And then were you like, okay, this is getting pretty serious, I got to get my first commercial space? And were you also doing that and personal training, or was there a point in time where you kind of gave up the personal training to pursue?
Yeah. So that was like dude, it was, man, probably like 2 years of like, should I go full in or, go to school at the same time? Because I was going to school. I had this random t-shirt store that I owned with my buddy Bruce, and I was going personal training, going to college, doing all kinds of stuff. I had to really choose, but it was when I established LiveFit as a brand and like, put the e-commerce store and all that stuff and was making money while I was sleeping. That was when it clicked. I was like, dude, this is different. This is like income that's just coming 24/7.
Yeah.
Like I got to ride this wave right now. So that's when I made the decision, told all my clients like, hey, this is what I want to do, which is hard, because you're clients and you have like a personal relationship.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to give them to another trainer or just cut ties because you've been training with these people for years, but they all understood because we've had those talks before because, you get intimate with your clients. So I share them all my visions and what I wanted to do. And they're like, yeah, go for it. So I eventually did. And then I never looked back.
Were any of them like, but how am I going to live fit, Randall, if you don't treat me?
No, they were all good. I mean, luckily enough, I had trainers that worked under me. This guy, T and Jandar. Yeah. They own Journey to Fit now. But they.
Oh, I think you posted about them before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they took some of my clients,
That's dope.
And the rest of them, they just like trained by themselves and yeah.
And then how did it start blowing up? Like were you able to start scaling? Because I remember there was this one post where you posted where it was like time to get a new warehouse where you outgrew the space. And that's always like, I think it's every business's dream when you sign a lease for a certain amount of time, like, oh, we're going to sign this place for 3 years. But within the 3 years, you're able to already outgrow it. So you're like, fuck it, I'm going to sign a double lease so I don't break this contract. But I'm grown so big, I just need another space. And it's like an awesome luxury to be able to do that. When were you like, okay, I gotta outgrow this space now?
So the first warehouse we signed, we had to break that lease in like a year.
Yeah.
And then we got a bigger spot, and then we broke that lease into a third spot. And then I was like, dude, I can't keep breaking leases. And this was within like 2 years. Damn. So then we ended up having two 2,000 square feet warehouses, just because one for storage and one for operation.
That's amazing.
And then the lease breaker.
Yeah, then we
that's our WWE name, Randall the lease breaker.
And then we actually broke that lease and went to like a 5,000 square foot warehouse still in Signal Hill in Long Beach, and then eventually left that into the 32,000 square foot warehouse where we're at now.
Yeah, the one that I stopped by, right?
Yeah,
that thing's humongous, dude.
That place is huge. So.
Yeah. I've never walked into a building and then feel my nuts just shrivel up. Yeah. I was like,
that's really big then.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty successful. And I go in there and my fucking nuts were just gone.
Like you had a vagina?
Yeah.
Or what kind of gone? Like that kind of gone?
No, it's like dehydrated grapes, kind of like raisins.
Oh, the visual.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this place is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I know when we first entered, like we didn't when we first entered the space, we didn't really do much market research. Like we were just like, well, we like to train in this way. And then we were going to different gyms. And then we were like, oh, fuck. Like there's really nothing out there. Well, Bart was like, well, what if I just get my own thing? And then we were like, oh, fuck. Well, I don't know if we have the money to even do this thing. So then we did the whole apparel route where we're like, oh, well, we can source funds from apparel so that we can open this gym. And then at that time, I just remember like the minimal research that we did, it was just like beast mode on. And it was like,
I remember those. I remember those shirts.
Yeah, like that shit was so tacky. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, not to knock on anyone that had that type of thing. But like, that's all we needed to see. Like, we just saw that and we're like, what the fuck? And then barbell, we started doing our barbell thing. And then through that, like, then that's when we got more immersed into the whole fitness thing of it. And then we saw LiveFit apparel and we're like, oh shit, this is actually pretty tight too. And we felt like you were really shaping the way fitness was looking. Like I would accredit that to you, you know, like,
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was dope. Because it was like at that time, it was just us doing our thing, and then the beast mode people, and then it was you coming out with your thing too. And I never saw that like whatever you were doing and we were doing was like the same thing, but I did see it as like, oh shit, like you were contributing to being more like aesthetic and just like more hip,
right?
You know,
right.
And that's the same thing that we were trying to do, because like for us, it wasn't like, oh, we want to change it. It was more like, I don't want to wear that shit.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't.
That's all it really was.
No, yeah, doing these shows and stuff too, and I was looking around like, I mean, not knocking that. I mean, I guess I am knocking that shit, but I'm like, I don't wear stringers. Like that's just like wearing a thong on your chest. You know? And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like this shit's, like I can't wear that stuff, you know. So I ended up just making our own shit and just putting our spin to it, you know.
Yeah.
But I remember you guys. Remember that our first LiveFit Expo. That's when I officially met you guys for the first time. But I already had known you guys from Just Kidding Films or Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Were you like tripping out like this?
Dude,
fool?
I was tripping, dude. I was tripping out. I was like, dude, I saw Bart and Gio. That's crazy.
That's tight.
Yeah, dude, random. And then my brother was like, dude, what the fuck? How did you meet them? You know?
Yeah,
they all watched the videos like
That's
way
dope.
back, you know?
Yeah, when we first came out, people were like, Uncle Sam? Like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, like, we own this apparel, or like we own this line or whatever. And they're like, what? And then they would make him like do the accents.
People would
and shit.
always say like, what are you doing here? I'm like, well, I can't be here.
I know, right? Yeah.
Like I don't belong. Like I'm from another world or something. I'm like, dude, I like working out. I can't be here.
Yeah, I mean, so for a question for you guys, was it weird when people started seeing you in the fitness space from when you guys were doing like comedy stuff?
Was it weird?
Or was it? I mean, for me, because low key, you were already like buff, so I was like, oh, okay, makes sense, you know. Yeah. But like, I don't know, other people.
Was it weird?
Because I would see you in that, you know, the toupee and
yeah.
I think for me, because I've never really considered myself like a fitness person. Like I still don't till this day. Like for me, fitness has always been something that like I do just because I need to move. Like I need to do some shit. So when I entered that space, like. Okay, I'm not gonna knock anyone, but I'm probably knocking people. So
we're just knocking motherfuckers. Fuck it, we're just all right.
Fuck it. I mean, if you get offended,
lights
like
out, everybody.
Yeah. When we first went to the Fit Expo just to check it out, because we were like, oh, okay, like this is a new space for us. Like we know the YouTube world, we're really comfortable in that space, but now with fitness, it's like, well, what do fitness people do? Where do they congregate? Like where do they meet up? Like what are they doing? So we heard about this Fit Expo thing. We went as just Bart and Gio. We were just spectators. And we thought that place was weird as fuck. Oh, yeah. Like they had the weirdest machines. Like you stand on it, it's like it like shakes and
at
shit.
At that time,
oh, the power plate.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I got certified on that.
Oh, my bad.
Way back.
Yeah, at that time was really weird. It's way different now. It's modernized.
But it looked like people from like Middle America were there. Like people that came from like Nebraska and shit. Like flew out just for this. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like for a second, I'm like, I don't belong here. Like this is not my space. Like what are we doing here? Like are we doing the right thing?
No, for sure.
So I think because I was so new and it was just such an alien world for me at that time, I was just like, this is weird. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I didn't feel like, I just felt out of place.
Yeah. No, I think before like we all got into that, there were a lot of people feeling that way, you know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, fitness, it needs to be in part of everybody's life, you know? But, like, it was only exposed or in mainstream in that little niche.
Yeah.
Until we came into the space and, you know, just kind of like, nah,
shook it up a little bit.
Yeah, everybody can do this shit, you know? Like,
yeah.
So I remember when I was first, so I used to work out all the time, but it almost seemed like the people that were at the gym, I used to train at Bally's. It was
same here.
Yeah, it was either like... Either you're trying to be like IFBB pro, like Ronnie Coleman, or you're just a jogger. Like there's no one in between. It's either this fool is the guy that's on treadmills for like 3 hours, or you're trying to like be the biggest meathead that you can be. And there was really no in between. And then nowadays, like fast forward to 2019, you have
the girls that are smashing on
you have everything in between. You got
have every niche possible.
I love
it. Yeah, you got physique, you got CrossFit, you got weightlifting. Now they even have non-barbell stuff like kettlebell only. Like you could do anything you want now, and it's way different. I think for me, when I first got into fitness, my weird part wasn't really at the expos. It was in our JK videos. People be like, Bart, what's your workout program? I'm like, dude, I'm not a trainer. Like, how the hell am I supposed to know? I just read the old school like muscle and fitness magazines. I just copy whatever like Branch Warren does or whatever, right? And then, but I would get so many of those comments like, hey, you got to teach me. And I'm like, well, how about this? Whatever I train, I'll just put it out there and then you guys can follow if you want. So I started making a YouTube channel of me just working out. And I really wasn't giving advice just yet.
Right.
And then when I really got into fitness and powerlifting, that's when I started like giving the tips that I started learning. And when I got to like the expos, that's when people would be like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, man.
It's crazy how much you do behind doors, and then when people see it, they still only see that one little glimpse of what they saw of you. It stays with them forever.
Yeah. But now it's different. Now it's like people know me from both spaces. So it'd be funny if I go to like a comedy event now and then they see me, what are you doing here? I'm like, I started in this thing, dude.
For real.
Yeah.
So for you then, like when you started, so LiveFit's it's growing more and more. For you, were you like, okay, now I'm gonna get athletes, or where was it where you're like, okay, now this needs to grow and be something bigger? Because like you went from like fitness athletes, right? Then I saw you like sponsor surfers and stuff. I'm like, that's hella tight. Like for you to start branching out that way, like what inspired that whole thing?
Just like it goes back to when I was like 14, 15. I always wanted the team. You know, when we sponsored bands and stuff like that. And then I was like, dude, you might as well build a team with this brand that has momentum, you know? So then I started sponsoring athletes, and then like IFBB pros, and then went on to go get skaters, surfers. And then, I mean, in the very, very beginning stages, how I marketed it, the brand, this is before I even had any athletes, was two of my buddies, David Pond and Jack Merlot. They were just skateboarders that were, that worked out. And then we just went out, did a couple photo shoots in the LiveFit gear and started promoting it like that, you know? And then we were like, okay, might as well add that whole realm of that extreme sports into the fitness side, because no one was doing it, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, these guys are more fit than these bodybuilders out here, you know, like these surfers and stuff. I'm like, dude, it has, because LiveFit is not just for the bodybuilding world, it's for every active person, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to come across from the get-go, is that we just don't promote the in the gym type of industry, you know? We want to get it out there, so.
That's tight.
Yeah.
That is tight. What would you say were like some of the hardest things you had to deal with? Like, did you have any crazy obstacles?
Yeah,
or
let's
like,
get the tea, baby.
like
Let's get the
that
tea.
were like, fuck, man. Did you ever reach a point where you're like, man,
fuck this?
yeah, I'm tired of this. Time to move on to the next thing, or anything like that?
It was like frustrating. I would have walls and reach frustrating points, but it wasn't like I wanted to stop. It's like, now let's figure out how to fucking get over this, you know?
What was one of the biggest walls?
Fuck, dude, there's a lot. Like what, in what,
Anything.
guess, field in
Anything, yeah.
The one that sticks out to you the most.
Do they happen
right now?
every year, or like, do they happen?
Well, it's just ongoing things, you know? Obviously, one thing is when you actually start having legit employees, you know?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Scaling and shit. It's just problems, and, you know, and then stuff with like inventory and just management of money and stuff.
Damn, you're speaking to my heart, dude.
You
Fuck,
know,
I feel your pain because
the
I
legal
know.
shit,
Yeah.
the legal stuff, you know, and then like the taxes and all that shit. It's all fucked up. The more you make in this, just like, damn, man, everybody comes after your ass, you know, in the wrong ways. And it's just like, fuck, you just trying to do good.
Oh, maybe we haven't made it yet then, babe. No one has came after
I do
us.
know that every year when taxes comes around, I'm like, man, I should be living in Nevada or Texas or something.
That's the only person that comes after us, though. But other than that, we're pretty chilling.
Yeah.
No, it's just, I don't know. It's crazy. Once you start getting a lot of traction, everyone starts knocking at your door. You know, you don't really know what they want.
Yeah.
You know, what their initial intentions are. You're like, all right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's all learning curves and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, there's a ton of fucking like brick walls that, you know, I got slapped by. But
what is your when you get hit with the brick wall, like what is your go-to therapy? You go like skate for a few hours and try to clear your brain, or like you try to attack it head on? Are you one of those guys, like if there's an issue you got to keep going at it until it's solved? Or
yeah, I'm like that.
Like that?
Yeah, I'll just go full on. I'll meet with like my executives, and then we'll just hammer it out and just talk it out, you know, kind of find out a game plan to get get over this shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to speak on a lot of it, but a lot of it has like confidential stuff.
NDAs, yeah.
But
Damn, no tea today, guys.
no,
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I can talk about this one where we fucking this asshole in North Carolina or whatever the fuck it was, used our logo, used our fucking mission statement, all this shit, built a website and like made a store called LiveFit Nutrition.
Oh my God, is that the one I sent you, or is that another one?
Probably. I was getting like so many DMs on this, so we ended up suing them.
Yeah.
But this is when I started really learning about how like the legal system works.
It sucks.
It costs money to be right, dude.
Fuck, dude, that shit. I was right. The dude lost his thing, and then he owed me a lot of money, but then he filed bankruptcy, so I was just down the drain with lawyer fees and all this shit, even though I won.
Oh.
Yeah, and this was like it took years, you know. So that was one thing that I learned was you got to keep tabs on like your attorneys and your lawyers, because we have like trademark attorneys, we have our regular attorneys that's on retainer, then we have like our employee lawyer and stuff. But still, you got to be, you know, careful with them, because that's how they make money. You know?
The legal part of business is the part that I hate, because it's like what they taught you growing up. You're like, oh, be honest, tell the truth. This is right or wrong.
Yeah,
it's
no
like
right or wrong.
Yeah, it only matters up to when you're like 18. Then when you're in the real world, it's like, oh, you want to be right and you want to be proven right by the court. Well, now you got to pay this lawyer like $500 an hour to make you right. Or if you can't afford that, then you guess you're gonna be wrong if that guy can afford it. And it's like, fuck, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about how much money you have. You know, I've seen a buddy that made this multi-million-dollar company, a clothing company. This was when I was like 15, 16, and he was like the same age, but I took on an investor. The investor came in and bought in and owned more shares and ended up booting him out. Yeah. So he ended up suing the new partner, but just ran out of money. So he's just down the drain. And it was bad. Yeah. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that does. That fucking sucks.
Have you ever like thought like, okay, because, you know, like as the famous Biggie said, more money, more problems. Did you ever think like, okay, there's like a cap of success I want to reach, because I know once it gets to a certain point, I'm gonna be spending so much time doing the non-creative, legal, administrative things that I'm not even gonna be able to spend time on what I love? Like, did you give yourself a cap of where you want to be?
Oh yeah, I'm already I guess I'm already there, dude. Like, as soon as we found out that me and my fiance, she said that she's pregnant, I was like, dude, this is what I'm gonna be focusing on.
That's tight.
That is tight. That makes me happy.
Yeah, but the grind and all that stuff, that's just what I'm addicted to. You know, you can tell from like when I was 14, 15 years old. Yeah. So if I just, because that makes me happy. Like, it's weird having a little bit of that stress. Yeah. Keeps me sane. So
wait till it comes out.
Same here, dude. I'm excited. I think I'm addicted to some sort of grind. Like, I like to have some sort of like life's Rubik's Cube that I'm like constantly like working on. Yeah, no. So like my dream is finding a duffel bag full of like 10-20 million dollars. Okay. And then I would just retire. But if I retire, I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm gonna like probably train like a full-time MMA fighter that's never gonna fight. But like I just like cracking things, you know, like how can I get my black belt in BJJ, or like or like how can I make the best ribs in the world?
Dude, you're probably like me. Like if I find something and I'm interested in it, I just want to problem solve it or figure out how it works, everything from the beginning to end, you know?
Do you jack off to it?
Yeah, all the time, dude.
Me too, man.
But Rubik's Cube, right? But yeah, I'm just like a dig into everything I get my hands into, you know? And I think that's a good trait to have as an entrepreneur, you know? Yeah. Figuring shit out.
Yeah, I got to keep my mind stimulated.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just don't want the drama and all the legal stuff. So I think for me and her, we also like set aside like, okay,
I want to fuck around.
Yeah, this is the lifestyle that we want. Once we get to this max, I don't care if I'm a billionaire ever. I just want to be here, be happy. If I have a lot of free time, that's where I want to be. Yeah. Like I don't need to be Richard Branson or like Elon Musk or anything like that.
Yeah, I've learned to just integrate like my life into the business, you know. Yeah. So like when we go on tour and stuff, I would extend like a week stay and then just kind of enjoy it.
That's tight.
You know, like stress free. But you guys have to find a way to just incorporate into the business lifestyle, because we're owners. You know, we take that shit home when we go to sleep. It's not like we clock out. Like fuck, you know, if there's a problem, that shit comes home with me, even if I leave the office, you know?
Yeah.
Before I lay my bed lay my head at bed, it's like I'm thinking about that shit all the time.
That's one of the most stressful things. Like sometimes we'll have like a fire we have to put out at work, especially like employee drama or something. And so you're notified of it, and then everyone kind of just bounces. And so now the solution is rested on your shoulders.
Yeah.
So you go home, like when you're just driving, I just feel all this anxiety. I'm like, I can't believe I have to fucking deal with this bullshit. I go home, I'm laying in bed. I'm like, God damn, and my fucking heart's still racing. I try to go to sleep, and until there is a good solution, like it's constantly on your mind. I'm like, I'm surprised my whole head isn't full of gray hairs.
It's hard to live in the moment with that though too.
Hell
because
yeah.
you're always thinking about the future.
Yeah.
So you're planning as an owner, you're always planning for events or planning for projects. So you're always living ahead, which isn't good because then you're on autopilot. Right. And you're like, fuck, dude, where the fuck did time go?
Yeah.
Like when Black Friday happened and then till like now, I was like, it's just a fucking blur.
Yeah.
What the fuck? It's New Year's. Oh shit, cool.
Yeah, we've been planning
Christmas
for Black Friday since I think August or September. And it's just like we have like the dopest campaign, shoot all this super sick media, like we have all this thing we're ready for. And by the time we drop, like I'm already so jaded to that content because I've seen it 6 million times. And I'm like, man, that kind of sucks to ever feel that way about any projects or babies. But that's the only way you can really progress and stay ahead. You have to be like 2 or 3 projects ahead.
Yeah, only owners get, or like, you know, high level guys in companies get to or feel that way, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but yeah, it's a weird balance, you know, because you got to get your guys to get motivated to do these things too. And then not feel so burnt out. So it's like it's a weird balance.
What is your position? Like, obviously you're the CEO and like the creator of the whole thing, but like
the Lease Breaker 2000.
yeah. That's your new name. Randall the Lease Breaker. But what, like, do you have, like you said, you have your team of executives, right? Like with them, are they like your front linemen where like there's this issue and then you guys in your meeting discuss that and then they go out and they douse these fires for you? Or are you like in the front line also dealing with that shit?
Kind of, yeah. So I'm more of like the creative director side.
Tight. Very smart.
I still do a lot of the design work and stuff, but when it comes to like operations or inventory management or production stuff, I have guys that manage that as well.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, but you know, I've learned that stuff with them growing as in, okay, now I'm comfortable with them taking over that department.
Yeah.
So it's been like years now. So these guys are the guys that I meet up when we have issues because I know like you always have like your ride or die guys, you know, the guys that are just down for the company. For us, it's like this guy, Mike and Omar, and then Sarah, obviously, she's a CFO of the company.
That's this girl.
Yeah.
She has a degree like in accounting.
Yeah, she was an accountant. She came from a CPA firm. So
tight.
Yeah.
That's really dope.
That's dope to have someone like that on your team.
No,
what is she gonna do once the baby comes? Is she gonna pull back or is she gonna be like?
No, because right now at our office, I'm taking the conference room, and then my office that you saw, we're turning that into a nursery /
How cute.
her office.
That's
so
tight.
You know, the baby can play. Because right now we have like dogs everywhere too. Like it's a pretty fun environment.
It's pretty nice when you have like 30,000 square feet, you know, just like
to play, you know.
It's pretty cool. No big deal.
They have salty. Is this you? Are these your tears? Did you make this out of your tears right now?
It's one of my kidney stones I get from all the stress.
I mean, that's a good thing to point out, you know, because like everyone is always like, oh, I'm like starting up, right? They're like, I want a brand. I want this. I want that. But they kind of don't see, or they don't put themselves around other people that own businesses that see like there's the good and there's always a bad, right? There's the yin and the yang. So like, that's the fun part is designing and coming out with the marketing stuff. Like that's tight.
That's the fun stuff.
That's
but all the logistical shit, you're like, fuck, man, dealing with people, dealing with personalities, like balancing like all that shit is like a really good thing to bring up right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like when we were scaling so fast that I didn't have like the opportunity to really outsource or see a bunch of other brands or how they operate. So we just built everything internally, you know, so all the logistics, all the shipping stuff, we built ourselves, you know. And then later I find out like, fuck, people just contract other shippers. You can contract this, you can contract that. I'm like, fuck, dude, you know?
Yeah.
So, but
the grass is always greener though, because for us, we had a company that were like, so our like COO, he comes from like a fulfillment background, so he understands shipping and logistics and all that. So when it comes to that, like from the get-go, he was like, I don't think we should build out our own warehouse. Let's have someone else do it. They can do it faster. They can do it more effectively. And we found a guy that was guaranteed to have, I think, like less than 3% error. But for some reason, on one of our biggest launches, shit was fucked up. Like people were getting they're getting gear from a launch we haven't even dropped yet, or some people were getting the wrong sizes, and it was just like a complete butt fuck. And I'm like, fuck, that's why Randall does it himself. Yeah. So we can fucking double check these things. But after we talked to them and we threatened to leave, they fixed everything. So this last Black Friday was like one of the smoothest ones we had. And like all orders went out within the first week. And I think every single day we had our own internal goal. Our customer service guy was like, there's not going to be any order disputes by the end of the workday. Every single day, my entire email is going to be cleared.
Sweet.
And I'm like, that's so awesome. But
yeah, that's the thing now with us being both of us all in direct to consumer mostly. Yeah. That it's when you have your own stuff internally, it's so much easier and faster to get the issue resolved, you know? Because like before that, when you're just getting your stuff into stores, you don't have to do none of that. You know, the stores take care of that shit. Yeah. But now that, fuck, man, we're like direct, people want their shit like now, you know? Like, oh, I just ordered an hour ago. Where's my tracking number?
I blame Amazon.
Yeah, no, fuck Amazon.
Fuck Amazon. What the fuck?
Making us look bad.
Yeah, I ordered that shit, and then an hour later, you give it to my house. Fuck you, Amazon.
Yeah, dude.
When you order things on Amazon,
it's pretty tight. I love Amazon.
Do you spend the most amount on shipping as you can?
Wait, what?
For on Amazon?
That's what I always do. Wait, like when I order anything on Amazon, you know how it give me like a list of options? It'll be like
fucking crazy.
It'll be either like free in 2 days or $2.99 tomorrow or something, or sometimes it'll be like $8.99 by today by 3
Don't tell me you spend like $30-something to get it like 2 days later.
I always get it as fast as possible. So whatever the most expensive is, I'm like, give that to me in 5 minutes now. And I click on it. But what's funny is like, I'm so busy that when I come home, even though the package was already there, I don't even open it for 5 days. Because I have a stack of boxes.
See, you see what I'm married to? My life is hard,
so I'm
dude.
like, fuck, I should have just saved money if I'm not even going to open it for 5 days. Yeah. But I'm so impatient that I'm like, it's got to be there. I get impatient,
yeah.
He can't relate. He doesn't make stupid decisions.
I get impatient, but I wouldn't do that.
Oh, that's one of the things I gotta learn. That's why we're poor still. See?
Yeah, you're making us poor. Are you proud of yourself?
No.
No, but I feel you on the whole like pretty much having that cap and then just being like, yeah, like this is enough. Like I have enough to not have to worry about bills, or I can go eat wherever I want to eat. Like I'm chilling. Like I don't need to make more than where I'm at now. My life is perfect. And then like now I can start a family and then focus on that.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to take a helicopter to work?
Do I want to take a helicopter? Where am I living?
I don't know.
Maybe. That'd be pretty tight. But then I feel like, I don't know, that kind of complicates. So, okay, so I just got a Tesla, right? Because that's like my mom car. Because I didn't want a van. But then I'm
Randall's
also...
like, I mow my lawn with a Tesla.
Yeah, probably. But I like driving. Like I like feeling a car. Like I like stick shift. Like yeah. I like German cars. Like I like heavier cars. I like driving aggressively. But there was just no car on the market that I'm like, fuck, like I don't want a van. Like that's just whack.
Damn, knocking vans
all day, baby. You drive a van, I don't like you. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's just not for you. Have a van?
I don't think you're gonna get a van when you have a kid. No.
He's like, I pulled up in a van, dude.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, we can't be friends. So what was my point of bringing this thing up?
Just to knock vans, I think.
Your Tesla.
I just wanted to talk shit. Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's like it's not an inexpensive car, you know? And I'm like, oh, okay, it's like all this technology stuff, like it's gonna be tight, like it's gonna make my life easy. It opens a door for me, like, whoa, that's crazy. I don't have to.
It does open the door for her. Shit.
It's pretty tight though.
It is, but like the more it does stuff for me, the more I'm like, what the fuck? Like it feels like there's like I was driving one time and then it just all blacked out. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like
it shut off?
Yeah. Like the car was
It's
still
weird.
driving.
It's weird.
But then like
It's supposed to do that?
no.
Because it's like a giant phone, right? Because it's all tech.
Yeah, dude.
So you know, like sometimes your phone would just all shut off, or like like your computer, anything would. And because the car is also all tech, we were driving, the whole thing just blacked out, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is. But it kept going though.
Yeah, I mean, it kept driving, but like, I guess my point in saying this, it is like.
So you're knocking Teslas too in this podcast?
No, I'm such an asshole today. No, it is that like I just want to keep it simple. Like I felt like getting that car just complicated my life because it was like it's too high tech, it's too like foofy for me, and I'm just like
for sure.
I'm like fuck, why did I do this? I should have just stick to like I was gonna get an X5 and just chill. Like it's a good car. But I'm like, fuck, man. I wanted to be techie. I wanted to be extra, and now my car's shutting off.
Dude, that happened to the Range Rover too. Electrical issues. I got a recall right away. Like, fuck, dude. Because it's all electric. I'm like, damn, dude.
I mean, but did it drive?
That shit drives good.
Oh.
Drives perfect.
Don't tell me that, because.
But the electric, yeah, that shit's always an issue.
What year is your range?
18, 17.
Oh.
Is that your go-to out of your cars? Is that like your go-to daily driver?
Yeah. It's
the most comfy?
Yeah, super comfy. Yeah, because if not, I'm like super low to the floor.
Like the Lambo?
Yeah. I'm not taking that over here, dude. The road outside, man.
Yeah, LA will ruin your car.
Yeah.
What are you guys gonna do when what car are you guys gonna get when the baby comes?
Well, I'm gonna give Sarah the Range, and then I'll probably take the A7, or I want to get the 4Runner. The TRD.
Oh, those are sick.
Yeah, dude, cause I skateboard and stuff, and like just do like random shit that gets the car dirty.
Yeah.
And I realized when I was like packing my skateboard and all this like dirty shit into the Range, I'm like still being careful. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I like?
Why am I like this?
Why are you feeling so careful about it?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, it's supposed to be a fucking like big car. Like I just want to throw shit in it, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about getting the TRD.
Yeah, because since it's luxury, you still kind of treat it like it's luxury.
Yeah. Because before, my excuse was like, yeah, dude, I need a bigger car just to put like snowboards and skateboards and shit in it. And then you get it, you're all careful and stuff. And like, nah, this is not what you pay for.
Yeah.
You want to be able to beat it up and stuff.
Yeah, the TRD Pro 4Runner is fucking sick.
Yeah,
and this is just like a review.
Yeah, what other cars should we talk about? No, okay, so I fucked it up, all right? I steered the conversation in the car thing. I'm sorry, but my whole point was...
I love cars. I could talk about cars.
Dude, I could talk cars all day.
Do you have a dream car that you haven't got yet?
Damn it.
Like my all-time dream car is a 1967 Chevelle. But the way I want it to be, it'd be like $250. So I can't really afford that just yet. But that's like my all-time dream car. So if I come across that duffel bag full of money, that's the first car I'm buying.
Does anyone have a duffel bag full of money that
just
we can
10 to 20 million?
Just leave it somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have a dream car that's like you haven't bought yet?
No, I just haven't thought about like my dream car was an R8.
He bought them, dude.
And you already
he
got
already
it?
bought all of them.
Yeah, and then I just can't think of it further ahead. Now it's just kind of like I just want project stuff, you know, just kind of
things
like
you can work on.
Yeah, exactly. If I have time, you know, I always do that shit. Buy something and it just sits at the house.
Yeah. That's what I was telling Bart. Once I found out I was pregnant, I'm like, you can't take, because he's kind of like you, where he likes taking on different projects and he likes like the whole jacking off to Rubik's Cube type stuff.
Okay.
And like I just told him like, dude, like I want a family, like I want us to have like basically a 9-to-5, like as much as we can, right? Because like we were saying, like if you own a business, it never really does turn off, but I want it to be like 7:00, we shut it all off, we're not on our phones, we're just devoted to sitting down at a table, eating dinner together, talking like, how was your day, like doing that whole thing. So I'm like, you can't take on any more fucking projects, like that's it, we're done, like whatever, like Kaizen, whatever, like that's it, we're done.
Yeah.
So
you know, Sarah and I, it's funny, Sarah and I had that conversation too. It's like, how do we slow down time? How do we, you know, start getting memories of like the years and stuff? So what we started to do is now, like each holiday we go full on. Like for Christmas we deck the whole house out, you know?
That's
so
dope.
we like leave these memories like embedded in us. And then like for Halloween we deck out the whole, even if it's just us two and like the dog, you know.
That's sick.
We just go all out, buy everything and just put pumpkins everywhere, deck it out, and it's just like,
damn, that's tight.
That's a great
you know?
idea.
And then now like if like Valentine's is coming out, so we're gonna be doing like all red stuff, and
cool.
just like different holidays, you just gotta get in the,
because you remember the holidays.
spirit. Yeah, you always remember the holidays, so might as well do it at your house so you kind of have those memories and stuff.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like that. That's
one idea. Of the before I used to like, I think any time someone's like starting up in business or whatever, you kind of knock the 9 to 5. You're like, oh man, like you.
Yeah, I have the anti 9 to 5 shirt.
Yeah, you have. You think like 9 to 5. It's like
who's
that's
knocking
all,
on people now.
That's all you're doing. But then once you start getting into real business and that shit don't stop, and you're working like 60 hours, 80 hours a week, you're like, damn, 9 to 5 is pretty chill. Like you just go to work, you work till 5, you come home, you have all these time for hobbies. So now, ironically, even though we have a business, we control our own hours. But when you control your own hours, you work way more than you ever imagined. So we're trying to minimize everything back into like a 9 to 5 schedule.
Yeah, you're always working because as owners or as creators, you create jobs. So you create projects. So there's never a time to where like I just clock out.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, fuck. But no, I feel you, dude. Like I don't remember the last time, but I missed the feeling was when I'm done training.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna go to the mall. You know,
oh
really,
yeah.
Like, I have nothing to do. What
where you have a decision where you can like actually go, what should I do right now?
Exactly. Yeah. Who should I call? Who
Yeah.
wants to go skate or something?
I don't like that feeling though.
You don't like that feeling?
No, I don't like that
I
feeling.
I miss that because like for me, like
I didn't like it then.
Now you do?
I haven't had it, so I don't know.
So you don't know. Okay.
yeah, like the way I feel like I suck at socializing now. Like I'll go shooting with my friends, right? Or I'll even go like train with my coach or just do random things. And then like normal people, it's like, oh, you want to go eat after? I'm like, no, I can't. I gotta be out. You know,
right.
So like I'm just so abnormal, and I miss that doing something, and it leads to something, and it leads to something.
Okay.
Like a normal person, like you go,
That's
oh,
what
let's
we're
go
talking
shooting,
about.
cool. And then, oh, you want to grab something to eat? And then while you're eating, you're talking about, oh, did you watch this movie or whatever? Oh, cool, let's go check out that movie.
Yeah.
That type of like just go with the flow lifestyle. I haven't lived it in a long time.
Okay, I'm with you.
Go with the flow lifestyle. Yeah, fuck, I missed that.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to start a business now, huh?
I know.
No, but I also think we
There's
also
an intervention.
everyone's like, not anymore, man. After this podcast, fuck that. No, but I think we also want the whole 9 to 5 thing now. It's because when there's like problems happening, you're like, fuck, man. If I was just working with like in a 9 to 5, like you don't got to think about this shit. But then when it's going good and like everything is smooth, everyone's doing what they got to do, everything's running perfectly, then you're like, fuck yeah, let's keep going. What else can I do? What else can I create?
Yeah, no, I would never trade that for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think if I got back, fuck, it would be cool for like a day.
What, 9 to 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
and
feel
I'm
you.
like, fuck, dude, what am I doing with myself? You know?
Yeah. Especially when the person you're working under is a fucking idiot, and you're like,
yeah,
what am I doing?
Yeah.
I can't be here. I feel dumb.
I feel like I'm an idiot sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think you're an idiot.
No, I just think like, you know, like, I mean, like you, like, I have my hand in so many things. So it's the ideal situation is when there's no fires to put out. But it's like when you have your hands in so many things, if this company is cruising, there's some shit going on in this company. And if this one's cruising, there's something going on in this company. And the worst nightmare is when you got shit going on in like all the things you have going, and then you barely sleep for like 2 weeks, and you're stressed the fuck out, and you're like, why the fuck am I even doing this? And then this is when you start going on like monsterjobs.com looking for a 9 to 5. Like I'll just be a lifeguard or something.
You got on Monster?
No, I'm just saying.
That's cute.
No. Yeah. But in my mind, I'm like, fuck, if I would have just been a cop, like I said I was going to be in like 2008 or something, I wouldn't have to deal with all this.
All right, I'll ask you this. This will be the closing question.
Okay.
So we all, at least Bart and I, we have this one job that we can do for the rest of our lives. All right. I'll give you what mine is. So for me, once everything's said and done and I've like retired, whatever that means, I wouldn't mind being like a grocery clerk, like just pressing, like, you know, the one that checks you out, either that or a teller, like just pressing buttons all day.
She loves buttons. Like
I love it. Like I can just press buttons all day. So what job in that realm would you be like really happy doing? I think Bart was saying like detailing, right?
Yeah, like a stereotypical job, not like one of these ones that we invented, but like what's a job that it's been existing for like the past 10, 20 years that regardless of money you can see yourself doing. And for me, it was detailing cars because I really like, like solving little Rubik's Cube stuff. So I really like the satisfaction. Like back when I used to wash my own cars, I used to like waxing, putting on one layer, clay barring it, and taking a Q-tip. And like when you're done and you look at that car, it's almost like you finished a project.
Yeah.
And just like this sense of reward. What is your job that you think you could do for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I tell people I would personal train, but I think that's out of that realm, right?
Yeah,
because it's more new school.
Yeah, so now thinking I would go back to doing construction.
Oh,
cool.
Go back. You used to do construction?
Yeah, I did construction for like a year.
Oh, that's tight. What kind?
Yeah, just like putting before like the houses get approved to put like the cement and stuff. We do go in there and do the wood,
like build the frames and like
building the frames and all that
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did like residential construction and stuff? Oh, that's tight. So you could see yourself doing that for the rest of your life?
Yeah, because it's physical, which I like, and then it's like you get out in the sun and you're just like, you get to use the nail gun. That shit's cool. Hammers. Well, I like using tools, and I don't know. I like wearing a tool belt.
Yeah. And it's you're part of a team. Like there's a camaraderie.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like I would have a boss, and he just tell me what to do. I'm like,
That's tight.
It wasn't like brainless, but
No, it's tight.
I know what I had to do. I got orders, and it was cool. Cool, sweet. I'll just do that.
Yeah, and then you see, and it's done. Like you see your work as it's happening.
Yeah.
I did construction for one summer, and since I was the youngest guy in the crew, they would go, "Hey Bart, go get us lunch," and then so I'd go and like buy like pho, like to go pho, and then so it's me.
Was everyone Asian?
Yeah, it was like me and like
I was working all Mexican.
It was me. There was a couple Mexican dudes in there, and it'd be me and like 4 other dudes, and we're just like sitting there with like cement on our shoes, like paint on our shoes. But there's just something like manly.
You fucking liar! You probably put that shit on your own body and stuff, so you could feel. They were probably working.
It wasn't even a painting
cement.
phase.
You were like,
yeah, I was just there sharpening their nails. Yeah, but there's something manly about just like eating, and then they're just like out in the sun, and you're looking at each other. Everyone has like a sunburn on their neck.
It's like some warrior shit.
I like having like a tool belt. It was weird. Like, ask my employees. Like, it was probably a month ago because I have that other business, Skylabs prints, right? So we do like posters and shit and canvas upholstery. So I would just wear a tool belt and have scissors and all this shit. And I would walk around the whole office like that. I was like, yeah, check it out. Everyone's just like, this fool's dumb, dude. I was like, I didn't care. That shit
They're like, I can't believe this is my fucking boss.
Yeah, I was like, okay, at least I know where my scissors is. You know what I mean? I never lose my shit.
That's so funny. That's smart. All right, any last closing statements or anything that you wanna put out there to the universe?
I don't know. I mean, I think we covered everything. But, now that you guys seen what business entails, think twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode with Randall, creator of LiveFit.
Where can they find you and like check out all your stuff?
They could find
even though it's on billboards and stuff, so you can't really miss it.
Just Google it. Just Google it. It's everywhere. But yeah, you give them a shortcut.
I mean, you just go to livefitapparel.com, and then everything is on there. You can find me on there, and then all the links, or Randall-Pich.com.
Tight.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. This was dope.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yay.
Sweet.
All right, bye guys.
Easy.
Bye.